Hi, this is Katie. Yes, I'm posting on a Thursday. Today is October 10th, and today is World Mental Health Day, and I wanted to make a Thursday video for you guys. You guys know I mostly post on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, but this is an important day. So most of you guys, if you've watched a couple of my videos, you know that I have mental health issues, and I have mental illnesses, and I do talk about it semi-often on my YouTube channel because I think it's a really important topic to bring awareness to. I know a lot of people know about depression and anxiety, but a lot of people don't know how even those common terms can truly affect someone's life. But then also on top of that, I feel like a lot of people are not actually educated or not really aware of all different types of mental illnesses, whether it be personality disorders or mood disorders, and just certain illnesses that some people suffer with daily. And so if you guys don't know, I do have a couple mental illnesses. I've never really told you guys exactly what they are. I've just told you some of my symptoms, but my symptoms are abandonment issues and severe anxiety, and I feel very low a lot, and my brain is always like so confused, and my thought processes are a little bit iffy, and I just rarely honestly feel mentally okay. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt this video to talk about something super important. So obviously the whole video is really important because I'm talking about World Mental Health Day, and I'm talking about mental health in general because you guys know that I've struggled for so long. And so I wanted to make a video today on October 10th to lessen the stigma, to bring more awareness, but I also wanted to make a video specifically today to talk about a company that I think you guys might really enjoy. So please, I know you guys sometimes when I do sponsored videos you might want to skip, but please do not skip this part. And so this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an incredible online therapy service that might be really beneficial to some people who can't leave their houses, or to some people who, like I, travel all the time, or to some people who their schedule is so busy that they cannot go to weekly therapy that's 20 minutes away, that's for an hour, or that they don't even know when they have an hour per week. BetterHelp is all online, and there are licensed professional psychologists, social workers, and other professionals that can speak with you pretty quickly. Right when you sign up, they will connect you with a therapist within 24 hours. So not a crisis line or anything like that, but they're actually like, if you want weekly therapy, BetterHelp is an incredible option. They have a chat option, they have a phone call option, and they have a video chat option. And so I can literally be in Nebraska or Arkansas or in the Bahamas or in Argentina, because it is a worldwide service, and I can talk to my therapist. I really honestly think that BetterHelp is such a great resource, especially nowadays where like a lot of things that we get are online or through our phones. And so BetterHelp has kind of made therapy more at our fingertips than it really ever has been. And so if you have kind of felt stuck, or you're like, well, I don't really want to go to therapy in person, but I think that maybe I could benefit from talking to someone, I think that signing up for BetterHelp could be a really good option for you. If you're interested, I do have a link in my bio. It's betterhelp.com/Katie if you want to learn more or if you want to sign up. I signed up with a new therapist, and my first appointment is tonight, and I am pretty nervous, but I also think it's important to continuously work on yourself and take steps that maybe you haven't taken in the past to help yourself and make steps towards living our best lives. Because even though a lot of us suffer with mental health issues, it does not mean that we cannot still thrive as people, because we absolutely can. And so I'm nervous, and you guys know sometimes I smile when I'm nervous or a little overwhelmed, and I don't know if that's to try to bring like happy hormones into my brain or happy neurotransmitters or whatever into my brain or what, but so sometimes in the rest of this video I'm gonna be smiling a little bit. Anyway, but yeah, thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. I think it's a wonderful service for so many people. And so again, if you're interested, you can check out that link in my bio, and there's tons more information online. And I will definitely give you guys more updates throughout the next few weeks, few months of how it's going. I'm nervous, but there's no option to give up. You know, it's not an option. But yeah, thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video, and now we're gonna go back to the rest of the video. Also, I think that for therapy to help, you have to be really ready to work on yourself. And I don't mean, oh, just wait until you're ready. I mean, you have to like push yourself to make yourself actually do the work, because therapy is not just you talk and then you forget about it. There's work involved. And so I think some other times that I went in the past, like years ago, that maybe I wasn't, I don't like the word ready, because if you wait until you're ready, you're never gonna actually do anything. but it's more that you have to like really tell yourself that you're going to put effort into something, you know? And so I think in the past, I either just was not doing the work that was involved, or that I didn't really think it was gonna work. And if you don't think something's gonna work, it's not going to work. And so this is the first time in a while that I'm actually like, it's hard to say, but I am open to seeing what therapy can do, because you guys know I live on the road. So I am rarely in the same place for more than a month or so. A lot of times I'm only in the same place for a few days or a couple weeks. I can't see the same therapist. And so any real progress is going to be much more difficult for someone like me. And so that's where BetterHelp comes in, because it's online therapy, because I am just so sick of feeling so sick all the time. I'm so sick of it. And this is a different therapist. This is a different time in my life. And so something like this could actually help. And so I'm really nervous, but I mean, you never know what's gonna help you. And one of the really bad things that you can do, one of the worst things that you can do when you suffer from mental illness, is just completely give up on yourself, is to completely just do nothing to work on yourself. And so I am, you know, taking steps. I think it's important to take small steps. And so if something like signing up for therapy is a step that you feel like you can take, again, I have that link in my bio for BetterHelp. And I'm so grateful that they wanted to sponsor this video and work with me on Mental Health Day, because you guys know how important this topic is to me. And it's funny because like an hour ago, when I was like putting my makeup and getting ready to record this video, I was like, I don't even want to record it because I'm having such bad anxiety right now that like I want to cry. And I'm like, well, actually, Katie, maybe that's a good time to record it, because you guys know in the past I've recorded while I was crying or having anxiety attacks and talking about all that stuff. And right now I am just so anxious. And nothing really happened. I'm just anxious. I don't even know if any of this video has made sense already, because you guys know sometimes when I'm feeling really low, my thoughts, I mean, most of the time my thoughts are all over the place, but when I'm feeling low, like right now, my thoughts are a little like muted, but extra active at the same time or something. I don't even know if that's even how to describe it, but I just like I don't feel the worst I've ever felt at all. I just feel kind of low, and I just feel like I don't really want to do anything, honestly. And I haven't been feeling great the last few days. You guys know, if you watched my last video, I talked about how my car broke down over the weekend. And even in that video, I mentioned briefly, like, I know that quite a few of my last videos over the last couple months have been, oh, this bad thing happened to Katie, and oh, Katie's complaining about something again. And I don't mean it to be. Like, I have this channel so I can be honest with you guys and open with you guys about the good and the bad. But it also has been, on top of my mental illnesses that I just deal with constantly on a regular basis, just that I live with, like, that aren't circumstantial by any means. They're just, I'm anxious for no reason, or I'm depressed for no reason, or I wake up fine and 2 hours later I'm crying, you know, like, all that stuff is not circumstantial. But then when you add circumstances on top of it, you guys know the last few months I've been sick. I got a shock of going on a few dates with someone who ended up being married. My car broke down. There's been so many, I got hacked and like I got money stolen from me. Like, there's been so many circumstances going on that individually might not be the worst thing, but also you never know what is going to actually be traumatic to you. And so you can even hear your friend going through something. Like, oh, I dated this guy for a few weeks and we broke up and I'm really sad about it. And your initial reaction might be like, wow, you only dated a few weeks. But the same thing could happen to you and you can be like, oh, I get it. I get it. Like, you have no idea what's actually going to be a trauma. And so, like, putting other people down or making fun of people or anything for what they consider a trauma for themselves is so unhelpful, because you have no idea. Also, on the other side of that, you could date someone for 4 months or for 3 years and break up and it not really be a trauma for you. But then you could date someone else for 3 weeks and it be a trauma. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen to you. So you definitely have no idea what's going to happen to other people. But so with all these things that have been going on, if only one thing happened, like if just my car broke down but nothing else bad happened or negative happened or moderately annoying or whatever happened, then maybe it would not have affected my mental health. Maybe it just would have been like, oh, that sucked and that day sucked and then that's it. Maybe, I don't know. But the fact that there's been so many things, and like even a few things that I haven't told you guys, like there's been a pile of stuff over the past maybe 2 months. I feel like since I turned 33, it has not been, literally like 2 days after I turned 33, I was dating someone, he broke up with me. I got strep throat. And then like a week or two later is when, no, like 2 or 3 weeks later is when I found out that I got hacked. Like all this stuff just kept happening. And I felt like I didn't have a break. I felt like I didn't get a breather in between everything. And so everything was just piling on, and that could be hard for anyone to deal with. If just everything seems like it's going wrong, that could be hard for anyone to deal with. But then when you add the severe mental health issues that I deal with, which again, it's a lot of severe anxiety and severe depression. I have not been diagnosed with clinical depression. It's just that the other disorders that I have also have depression with them, you know what I mean? But a lot of the abandonment issues, a lot of the trust issues and the confusion and feeling overwhelmed all the time. I feel overwhelmed all the time, even if nothing is going on, even if nothing has changed, even if everything is going the way I want it to go, I still get so overwhelmed. And then so add all these things that I did not want to happen, that were mildly or moderately stressful, and things that just came out of nowhere and like slapped me in the face, like of just like, oh, you got your card hacked, oh, you got robbed, oh, also all this bank stuff, oh, also that guy that you went on a few dates with who told you that he wanted to be your boyfriend, he has a wife and 5 kids, like all this stuff. Again, if you're mentally healthy, having stuff pile on could really, really stress you out. And it just adds an extra level of difficulty, uncertainty, overwhelm when you add mental health issues to that. And it sucks. And it sucks because sometimes people ask me, oh, what do you do to cope? Someone asked me last night, like, what do you do when you have an anxiety attack? I'm like, I don't know. I have not found anything for me, and I hope that when I start this therapy, that can be something that when I speak with this therapist, that can be something that we figure out together. Is I feel like I don't have coping strategies that work for me. And there are coping strategies that work for some people, and I'm sure a ton of you guys have learned some stuff that helps you. And I just have not found anything that helps me yet. And so when I'm feeling like, right now that I'm not feeling good, what I would normally do personally is just put TV on. Put Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Mindy Project, Friends, one of those comedy shows, because that is like a neutral distraction for me. And then hopefully after a couple hours, honestly, sometimes it's a few days, but generally after a couple hours, I just have like, I don't know, like my brain has kind of calmed down a little bit, that I could maybe do something more substantial that could actually be more beneficial. But sometimes all I can do is watch TV, honestly, or scroll through Instagram. Like sometimes, you guys know, the anxiety can be so paralyzing. And then people who don't suffer with this stuff like think that we're exaggerating or something, or talking about it for attention, or that we don't know real pain and that we just need to suck it up and that we're just being babies and all that stuff. And it's like, no, some people are actually sick in their brains. And I am one of those people. My brain just like went off and just started to like, my brain almost tried to start spiraling. And it's like, I want to think that I'm strong enough to not let my brain do that. But in reality, I'm not. Like, the only strength I have is from God. And I think we've talked about this, or maybe I talked about it on my Bible study. Maybe I didn't talk about it in a video. If you guys don't know, I have a Instagram Bible study. Right now it's just under the name Katie Bible Study, but I'm going to be changing that eventually. But it's a women's Bible study group. I think we talked about it there, that the only strength that I personally believe as a Christian, the only strength that we can get is from Jesus. But when I feel like this is so hard to admit. Because again, I think I admitted it on Instagram, but that's a much smaller group of people. When I feel this low, I don't want to reach out to God for help, because I feel like I'm bothering him. And that's part of like my human abandonment issues, that I feel like I'm bothering people all the time. Like always. Like I don't ask people for help. And if I do, I feel so bad about it. And if they even remotely seem like what I'm asking is something that they don't want to do, or seems like too big of a deal or something, then I just say never mind. Like, and I'll see people sometimes on TV like Or even on Instagram or whatever, be like, oh, I had to beg my husband to come with me. Or like one of your colleagues will say that they don't want to do something. You're like, no, come on, you're doing it anyway, kind of thing. And I mean, I know it's just TV and a lot of Instagram is kind of what you see. That's not super reality, but I would never beg someone to help me. The only time I ever beg is during breakups, which is like the worst time. Like, why is it the one time that I beg is the literally like the dumbest time? But I don't beg people for help. And if I seem even remotely like I'm being a burden to them, I just immediately take back whatever I was asking or talking about or bringing up. And that's from, you know, like my abandonment issues, and that's from my mental disorders, I'm sure. But that's also just from the fact that I haven't had many people that I can count on in my life that haven't out of nowhere disappeared, or where my mental health issues didn't become too difficult for them to handle. And I know that that's not the same with God, because God can literally handle anything. He created the whole entire freaking universe. I know he can handle anything, but I don't want to bother him. And like, I hope that I can change that too, because I know that he wants us to rely on him. And I'm sure a lot of you guys understand. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way, that you don't want to be a burden. And it sucks because, like, if I had someone really close with me go through a hard time and reach out, I wouldn't feel like they were being a burden. So it sucks. Like, why do I feel like that? Like, why do I feel like I would be a burden if I reached out to someone, if they told me that they cared about me or that they loved me? And I think part of it's because I don't actually believe that people care about me. I don't believe that people love me. I think that's just straight up, like, a main part of it. Because why would I? Like, okay. But yeah, that's something that, again, that I'm restarting therapy, because I don't want to feel like this all the time. I hope that this is something that I can discuss with my therapist and find coping strategies, but also somehow, like, I know that my self-worth is in Jesus. I know that logically, but I don't feel it. And like, logic and emotion are so opposites in terms of, like, you know, like when someone's emotionally sad about something, you can't just logically explain to them why they shouldn't be sad. It's not going to make the emotions go away. If you're logically upset about something, then logical explanation can help. But if you're sad and emotionally, like, heartbroken, it is rare that logic is gonna, like, make you completely feel all better. So logically, I can say that I know Jesus loves me and is always there for me. I can say that I know some of my friends and my family would be there if I need them. But I still I don't feel it, I guess. And so I hope that's something that I can talk to my therapist about. So just to kind of like round up this mental health update, like, overall, the last couple months, it's so interesting. My mental health has not been worse, just like in general. It hasn't been much worse than normal in general. It's been kind of average. But all these circumstantial things that have been piling on, that's what's made me feel worse and made me feel more like anxious and stressed. And stressed, to me at least, the difference is stress is generally circumstantial. How I view it, the difference like within me is that stress is circumstantial. I'm stressed because this paper is due for college. Like, that's how I feel stress. And when I feel anxiety, it could be circumstantial, but it's much worse. And then it's on top of all the mental health stuff. And it's generally not circumstantial. Generally, oh, I'm just anxious for no reason. And then, so of course, on top of that, logic's not going to help if you're anxious for no reason. Oh, just don't be anxious. Oh, that doesn't help, you know? So these are things that I know that I need to work on. And so hopefully there are things that the therapist can help me with, but also therapy, it's not the end all be all. That's the only thing you need. Like, you have to be willing to work on yourself even when you're not in therapy, because therapy, you know, a half hour or an hour a week, you know? And so you need to work on yourself outside of that. And it's so hard. And it's especially so hard when you either dislike yourself, or when you have low self-esteem or self-worth, or when your brain is always racing, or when you feel so alone. You guys, I feel so alone. Like, a lot of the time. And I think a lot of time, I was talking to someone recently, and he was like, when I'm having an anxiety attack, I always try to focus on how to, like, get better afterwards. He's like, do you do that? And I'm like, no, when I'm having an anxiety attack, I just never want to do anything ever the rest of my life. I want to crawl into a hole and just not do anything ever. But I'm also kind of sick of feeling that way. You know, obviously I get stuff done. Obviously I do my work, and I put makeup on today. I am taking even mild steps to being like, Katie, like, even mildly take care of yourself. Or I'm starting to change my diet a little bit, because you guys know I also, on top of all my mental health issues, I have quite a few physical health issues, and so my diet's all wonky. I'm fixing that. I want to have a few lifestyle changes that I think for me at this point in my life would help. So in terms of diet or friends or dating or whatever, like tons of things that I think if you try to change too many things at once, you're not going to change anything. Nothing's gonna stick. But I think a couple things at a time, or one thing at a time, and then when that kind of sticks, add something else. I think that that's okay. I think that's a more helpful way to do it, a better way to do it in terms of having something last longer so that you don't overwhelm yourself. And so starting therapy, I'm nervous, but I also don't want to keep feeling like I'm drowning all the time. And I've been having all these negative thoughts and emotions and everything for almost half my life. I'm 33 and they started when I was about 19. So they've been around. They've been around and attacking me, these feelings, these thoughts, for so long. And I have done so many things. I've been in therapy so many times. I've been on meds so many times. I've changed my lifestyle so many times. I have quite a few people who tell me, oh, well, no, you need to live in a house, then you'll feel better. No, it's just false, because all these symptoms started when I was living in a house. And I didn't live in a car until years later, because actually living in a car has been helping me. That freedom and going to new places all the time and being a little bit more forced to be outside or to do things, that has actually been helpful. But things change, and I still need to keep doing things to see what will be more helpful, because I still feel like I'm drowning. And again, it's not the worst. Last couple months are not the worst that I've dealt with at all, but I haven't felt great. And then all the circumstances on top of that have just made it harder and made it feel like, when is all this gonna stop? Like, when am I finally gonna have just like things kind of work out for me? And I'm working on things, and I think that's really important, because obviously you cannot control every single thing in your life. Obviously you can't control the weather. You can't control what other people do. There are tons of things in life that you can't control, but there are also tons of things that you can control. And I think it's so important to understand the difference, and then to take a hold of the things that you can control and work on those as much as you can. Just like you can't control what other people say to you, but you can control your reaction, all those things. I think it's really important. And so something that I can control is my diet, for example. Well, but not even, because a lot of that I can't control because I have digestive issues and allergies. But then on top of that, there are still parts that I can control. You know what I mean? And so one of the things I can control is starting therapy again, and having a positive outlook of, yes, this time it could be helpful, because in the past it hasn't. Not 100% unhelpful. There have been a couple therapists that I saw who were great, and they maybe gave me a few tips or a few tricks or some knowledge that I may have not known before that have been helpful. But overall, I haven't had a very helpful therapist. And then especially now being on the road, it would be hard for me to go in person for a very long time, because when you're in therapy, you can't really just go once or twice and be fine. Like, you kind of have to stick with it. And so that's gonna be a big step for me. And honestly, you don't have to be like super mentally ill to see a therapist. Like, anyone can see a therapist. If you just kind of feel like you have stuff to talk out, if something's going on at work, if you went through a divorce, like, anyone can see a therapist. If you just kind of feel like a little more stressed than normal and your friends are sick of hearing it, like, that's what a therapist is for. So anyway, again, if you're interested, the link's gonna be in my bio for BetterHelp. If you're interested in online therapy, it's so hard, but feeling okay, feeling some sort of okay is possible. Like, I don't really have a goal of getting cured, because I think it's too often that people are like, oh, when I'm cured, then I'll do this, or when I'm married, I'll do this, or when I'm retired, I'll do this. Those things might never happen. And so how I see it is more just, I want to be able to cope better with what I have now. And I want to do things regardless if I'm sick or not. Because you never know. You could be dead tomorrow. You have no idea. You might never retire, so waiting until you retire might never happen. And so I don't think it's necessarily I'm gonna get cured. I think it's I want to learn how to deal with what I have. And I want to learn how to maybe get better, but I don't mean 100% better. I mean maybe, you know, a couple steps better. You guys know I'm all for lofty goals, but I'm not all for waiting on something else to happen until you reach that lofty goal. I'm big on working on it now, you know, so. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you know that you are literally never alone. And again, if you're even someone who like, you feel like you can't even get out of your house, you know that first of all, there's a ton of people. We have such an online community of people who have mental health issues. And I still want to spread awareness of this because again, I think a lot of people, oh yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of schizophrenia, or I've heard of bipolar, or I've heard of generalized anxiety disorder. But they just have their own assumptions on what they are, and then they make fun of people for it, or they don't understand that it's an actual reason for why some people can't get out of bed sometimes, you know. And so I want to spread this awareness and lessen the stigma because it is an actual thing. It's an actual thing that is just not okay. Putting other people down for something that they really cannot fully control. We can work on it, but we cannot control this. But it's taking any remote step to feeling a little bit more okay. I think that that's important. Yeah, the fact that it's World Mental Health Day now, I hope that, you know, even by next year's World Mental Health Day, October 10th, that the stigma has changed, even just a little bit, you know. So I'm still gonna be making these videos. I'm still gonna share my journey with you guys, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about my struggles and talk to you guys about what changes I'm making, because as much as I feel like giving up, I can't let myself. Like, it's so hard, but I need to do something. I need to do something. And I hope that you guys do that as well. If you're at a place right now where you can barely even get out of bed, that's why, yes, we have this online community, but also like BetterHelp could be helpful to you because you could just chat with someone, like an instant message chat online. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm really, 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 really proud of you guys for waking up today. And if you're able to get up and take a shower, that's incredible. If you're able to go to work today, you're amazing. Like, I'm so proud of you guys because I know the struggle. Like, I know, like, I've lost a job in the past because of my mental illnesses. I've gone through breakups because of my mental illnesses. Like, I know what it's like. I don't know exactly what you're going through because we're all so different, but I know what those low thoughts, the feeling that you cannot get out of bed, the feeling like you're worthless, I know what all that feels like. But I also know, and I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not even saying that everyone will get better or feel even remotely better. I'm not saying that everyone will, but I'm saying that it's possible. And so I just really, really hope that you guys can find the strength through God. And if you're not religious, find the strength through something that can like push you and keep you going, and find something that you enjoy. You know, like, I don't even really enjoy a lot of things, but I hope that you can, and I hope that we can kind of work on all this together. So, okay, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. And make sure that you're subscribed because I am going to do mental health videos about once a month or so. But yeah, it's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.